my.
You are now tuned in to the Revolution Radio Show.
Oh, what it is and what it do. You're officially tuned in to the Revolution Radio Show on 102.3 FM, KCAA in the Inland Empire, worldwide on the iHeartRadio app and on the NBC Radio Network. As always, I'm your man, J Love, a.k.a. Uncle Jiggy, joined by the statesman himself, Mr. Farron. How you doing today, sir?
Man, I'm doing great, man. Great.
Man, today is Wednesday, the 30th, 2021, and I'm about to get in it. I don't even know if I should jump into the main story yet or go on some fluff real quick and give people a minute before I give it to them.
Give them a minute. Give them a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, give them a minute to settle in.
Okay, I'm going to give them a minute.
Get their water.
Just
water and popcorn.
So we ain't going to talk about the Capitol insurrection. Let me throw that story away. I don't care. You know what I mean? Let's see. Backlash from a black faculty and students over initially whatever. Let me see. Do I talk about the rescue efforts? Okay, we getting rid of that rescue.
Hurry up and get your water, ladies and gentlemen. Hurry up because we're running out of stories.
What about the Tour de France story? That's an interesting story. You know about that one?
I don't know about that one.
Okay, so most people have at least heard the term Tour de France, right? It is this amazing race in France every year that is like the elite of the elite when it comes to bicycle racing, right? Once upon a time, the greatest on the planet was a gentleman by the name of Lance Armstrong, and he did it all with just one. I'm trying to say how we say this. One
additive.
Yeah, one additive. But apparently, he was taking steroids. But I'm like, if a man beat cancer and only has one friend, I think he deserves to take steroids. Am I off? I'm off.
Yeah.
But anyways,
you're on your own on that one.
Here's what happened this year in the Tour de France, right? So apparently some French woman, I think she's actually German. Okay, so let me shout out Nika, I think one of the only Germans I know. What's up, Nika from Gym in the Box? You know what I mean? I'm about to show my results in a minute, man. gyminthebox.la. Y'all need to go check it out, the beautiful body shaper. But she's always bigging up the Germans. Well, this time the Germans messed it up. Not to say that they've ever messed it up in other parts of history. Oh, no, we're not talking about that.
No.
What we're talking, because the Germans, last time I went to Germany, they were real good to me, except for the time that a few little German kids brought up Donald Trump and was laughing at me. And all I did was say, well, if I take responsibility for Trump, you got to take responsibility for Hitler. And then they was like, oh, no, never mind. Cool, J-Love. Like, whatever. But here's what happened. I digress. Yeah. She decided she wanted to send a German shout out to her parents back in Germany, right?
Okay.
So she made a big poster, and it says, I don't know what it said. I can't read German, okay? But it was a shout out to her parents. It was probably like, hey, mom and dad, hope you got some strudel. I don't know. I went to Germany. I didn't eat no German food. I was eating burgers, okay, and Pizza Hut. But so what happened is at this particular leg in the race, right, when they were just starting out, right? She leans out in front, like to get in the camera, and she was leaning over into the lane where the bike and caused a super terrible accident, right?
Oh,
yeah, man. She literally bumped right into the front dude. And it just was like, as in the beginning, they're all bunched in together.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was bad. So yeah, man. So basically, and then she disappeared. Right. She was like, oops, my bad. So it says that the woman who allegedly held out a banner causing the crash of dozens of cyclists during the first stage of the Tour de France last Saturday has been identified and is undergoing police questioning. The Brest prosecutor's office told CNN the accident happened 45 kilometers from the finish on the first stage of the race on Saturday from Brest, I hope I'm saying that correct, to La Demeure. Yeah, when a female spectator on the side of the road held a big sign which caused the pileup. It's not evident what she meant to say on the sign, which said "Allez au pays ami" in French and German, which translates to "Go grandma and grandpa." Okay, that just made me more mad. You gonna be like, "Go grandma and grandpa"? They not in the race. Imagine if you were part of them cyclers, like you trained, you was training for the tour. Like this year, I got it. This year, I got it. Yeah, I feel good. My legs feel good. My lungs is good. What's up, Leo? Shout out to you, Leo, on Facebook. My lungs feel good. And then all of a sudden, you're ready. This is the first stage. And go grandma, go grandpa, shut your race down. So let me ask you this. Should we chalk this up to just an accident, or should she be prosecuted to some degree?
Is the footage her actually leaning into the camera?
Dude, she's leaning in to make sure she gets in the camera. You know what I mean? Seen. To be seen.
Yeah, she's got to go down for that. She's got to go down. She's got to go down. She's going down for that one.
Especially because isn't like the Tour de France kind of like their Super Bowl?
Oh, that's major.
That's I say super. Like I mean, I know I'm not necessarily into it, but I know it's a huge thing, like internationally, like teams from around the world.
Yeah, that's major. And she caused the accident.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
run the instant replay. Let's see.
Look, man, this lady, I just really think that you know, she about to be the most hated person in Europe. Because now that first of all, you know, somebody from her town knows her. You know what I mean? Like, you know, they were watching, because everybody watches the Tour de France, right? So they're like, this heifer, did she just, apparently her neighbors are black and from, did this heifer just, but so now, like, would this be the equivalent of a Karen in the US? Like, could this be Karen type behavior?
Oh, I don't know about Karen, but
no, not Karen.
No,
she has her own category. You know what this is like, kinda? I know what this is like, and I'm not even a baseball fan. Maybe you know this. Are you a baseball fan?
Somewhat.
I just know that I think it was in the 80s. There was a famous game in Chicago, and the dude in Chicago reached down from the stands and caught the ball, and the dude could have won. And they could have won. It's like that, right?
Right.
That was a terrible analogy because I know nothing about baseball. I think it was Chicago. Maybe it was Boston. Was it Boston? Maybe it was Boston because they had the curse, right? Boston had the curse of the Bambino.
Can we play if I find it, can we play it?
Play what?
The clip of the crash.
You have to just upload it. Just so during the course of the show where we play some music, you do that. So let me get to this other story real quick, and then we're gonna get to the main story. Okay, because I want to jump in on that one because I know people are gonna have something to say. So that we know that everything ain't a black thing. Because I got all kinds of DMs yesterday and all kinds of messages, and even today about Jay. There it is. Jay making it. There it is. See the Tour de France.
Let's see.
And so wait, are we gonna do this or we'll do this first? So are you playing the video?
I found it. Yeah, I found the clip. So when you're ready.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead and play it.
Oh, you want to play? All right, here we go.
Yeah, go ahead and play it. Sell it. Press play. This is how this works on the Revolution show, ladies and gentlemen. Can you turn that up? So apparently what's going on, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you driving in your cars, it is pandemonium, right? Like the first group of bikers, they heard something happen. And so I'm kind of narrating to you what's going on in this clip.
Let me bring it back.
Okay, he's gonna bring it back. You might have to turn it up because I could barely hear it. So I don't know.
Yeah,
If the audience can.
I gotta click this one button over here.
See, this is why we
I
need
got you.
more
I
black
got
people
you.
in
I got you.
technology
I got it
careers.
right here. I got it
We
right
almost
here.
as bad at technology as we are at swimming.
I forgot to click one button. All right. All right, here we go.
Here we go. Let's see what
Here we
happens.
go. Let's see what happens real quick.
That was a little closer than 126 as they've gone under that banner. Oh, the massive crash there. What has happened? Right on the side of the road there. Look at this. I don't know what happened there. Maybe they clipped the crowd, but whatever has happened, they are in a right mess down there at the moment now. How many riders? Let's hope. That is a massive crash, Bob. It's completely, it was a Jumbo Visma ride. It wasn't Roglic, was it?
I think that was Tony
Because
Martin
the whole,
that just went
it could
down.
have been Tony Martin. Yes, it could have been.
And he just hit the side of the road and lost the front wheel. You can see right on
It looked like pilot
near
error.
the front. Watch him try to get around his teammate and go down. Oh, it might have. Oh,
Right. So they're trying to figure out what happened.
Nasty ridge on it
Oh,
there.
So they're trying to figure it out, right?
Now,
While it's
the
going,
question
then
is-
later they look at different camera angles, and that's when they see the lady.
Wow.
And whoever Tony is, he must be a big deal.
Tony was a big big deal.
Because they knew him right away. They were like, "Ooh, that was Tony." Tony. Well, you know, Tony was supposed to do this real big. I don't know why I turn into an old Negro every time
You're going back to your ancestors.
I guess. So yeah. So I guess, lady, your life is about to suck. So that being said, I got a story to prove that I don't just look out for black people. I'm looking out for white people right now. Okay. I have been talking about police reform nonstop on this show. Okay. And I said that even though disproportionately, I feel that police culture unfairly targets black people, people of color, black and brown people. But I said overall, there is a very dysfunctional culture of bullying in police departments that doesn't just affect black people. Well, ladies and gentlemen, during a traffic stop, an Arkansas sheriff's deputy shot and killed a 17-year-old named Hunter Britton. The teenager was putting a jug of antifreeze behind his back tire. See how I did that real quick? Behind his back tire, so his vehicle wouldn't roll into the officer's vehicle, right? So family members told Vice News. This is a young white kid in Arkansas. He was putting antifreeze. That's it. He wasn't doing nothing wrong. But there's just a culture of shoot first and ask questions later, or billy club or mace or spray or kick and punch in the face, taser. And all I'm saying is that, look, I believe, let me be clear when I say this. Actually, I'm gonna word it this way. I have to believe, right, that the vast majority of people who take the oath to become police officers do it from the perspective of they really want to serve the people, correct? But I think that there is too many bad apples and they need to be completely taken out before they've spoiled a whole bunch. Does that make sense?
Here's my analogy to what you just said.
I said it nice.
Okay, I'm gonna give you some food analogy. How's that?
Okay.
I'm hungry right now.
Me too.
All right, so look. When you make an omelet, say you're making an omelet and you got one rotten egg, and you use 3 eggs to make that omelet, but one of those 3 eggs is rotten.
Yes.
And you crack it and you put it with your omelet and you mix it up and you form your omelet. That omelet is gonna still be stink with the 1 egg.
Yeah, I'm so glad you gave a great analogy that I can get behind.
Okay, so it's 1 rotten egg could stink up an omelet.
Yes, let the church say amen.
So it's 1 police officer, y'all, can ruin the name for the rest of the officers who are not doing
what I've been
bad
saying.
things.
How come when you say it,
but you can't blame the other 2 eggs.
but they mixed up with the rotten egg?
Right. So
They all together.
The issue is you should have checked the eggs before you put it in the rest of the
I'm
eggs.
trying to check the eggs. I'm
Right.
saying
So it's
eggs.
not, but you can't point out individual police officers. There's a system that's messed up.
That's what I've been talking about.
But you can't point out every cop is bad. No, you can't say that. Can't say that.
No, I can say a lot of them. I can say a lot of them. More than one rotten egg.
You can't say a lot of them.
Man, don't make me start saying their names.
You can't say a lot of them.
A lot.
The numbers, it ain't gonna add up.
Man, these numbers are gonna add up for real.
If you got 20 cops, and even if you got 20 cops and 5 are bad cops, it's still not all of them.
That's a lot of bad. 5 out of 20. That's a lot of bad cops.
That's not a lot. You still got 15. You got 15 cops.
1/4 of the. Do you know how much damage you could do with 1/4? Would you take right now 1/4 of $1 million?
Now you comparing fruits and vegetables. you can't.
Look, all I'm saying is this. You're right. There is a system in place, and there is a culture. I want to get these and more police officers. We had these really amazing police officers on the show earlier in the year. One of them happened to be a friend of mine that I went to high school with, and then his buddy. They actually, one of them now trains police officers, and he said he's making it his mission to train them differently, right? And I think that's where it begins. It begins with the training. It begins changing the culture. You got to change the culture because you're not blue first. You're a human being first, right? That blue is your job.
But I'm a veteran, bro. The identity crisis. You have to deal with that. Attitude, ego comes with that blue uniform. No different than it comes with the camouflage. So they need to do something across the board and retrain all of them with their mental issues and emotional traumas and start healing some folks. But that's still not going to solve the police issue. You talk about 1 cop out of 5. That's not gonna.
I think it's more like 3, but whatever.
Oh, 3 out of 5? That's way too much. 3 out of 5 is too much.
I gotta say, for real quick, condolences to the family.
I'm not gonna let you get away with that. That's why I can't let you get away with that.
I feel you, but condolences to the family of this young man, Hunter Britton. I hope I said your last name correctly, man. Regardless of the situation, a life was lost. You know what I mean? And so my point when I bring this up over and over and over again is that to be in supposedly the greatest industrialized nation in the world, we have to do better. So that's my point. And it can't be, and to prove it's not just about black people. Like I keep saying this all the time. Yes, I am ridiculously pro-black, but I am pro-humanity. I want people to win. You know what I mean? I want people to live in peace and experience justice. You know what I mean? We need to be at the front of the line because we was in the back for so long. So
the problem is that I'm willing to bet that even though he's a white kid, find out where his ancestors are from, and it was marginalized just like all of us. So it's not exempt.
Yeah. So
sorry.
So now I get to jump into the main story because I can't take it much. I can't take it much longer. So, ladies and gentlemen, I do the world's worst impersonation. Okay, it's the worst impersonation on the planet. But apparently today, gentleman by the name of Bill Cosby was released from prison to go home and have some Jello pudding pops.
Is he really going home today? Oh God.
Yeah, no, he's already out. He was out since this morning. So for those of you who didn't hear the breaking news, Bill Cosby was released from prison on a technicality. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna tell the truth. Okay. Listen, I know y'all think that, hold on, we got a comment. I see a comment coming. Y'all need some snacks.
I'm hungry.
So listen, I know that y'all think that you think you know what I'm gonna say. Okay, but I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna say. First of all, from a legal, let me tell you the legal breakdown.
Okay.
What happened in this particular case is they basically bamboozled Bill Cosby to testify in what was supposed to be a civil trial, right? So they cut a deal with him that if he testified in the civil trial, right, because they didn't have enough evidence to go to a criminal trial, that he would not be prosecuted. But it was like a real loose agreement. It was real, but still, as a prosecutor, you have to be very careful with the things that you promise a defendant or anybody that you did, right?
Right.
So the Supreme Court said we have to uphold the integrity of the court, right? Because the prosecutor made this promise in a separate situation, and then another one came behind him and it was like, we got you. You incriminated yourself. And now we can file criminal charges, right? Legally speaking, it was unethical, right? So the catch on this is that he cannot be tried for this specific crime ever again, right? So on this, he's not exonerated, but it's that whole double jeopardy law, right? So, which makes things really interesting. Doesn't mean that he's innocent. It just means that on this technicality, not only was he let out, like he walked out for real, but they can't even retry him. Okay, they would have to find a new victim that was more recent, right? Because the problem on a lot of the accusations with Mr. Cosby was that a lot of the accusations were decades ago and they surpassed the statute of limitations, right? There is one final civil trial that is scheduled right now for November. And that civil trial, it has to do with a girl who at the time says that she was 15 years old and she was at the Playboy Mansion and that she was sexually touched by Mr. Cosby. So before we get any further on that, I see this goes back to my question that I keep asking. Parents? At what point is there personal accountability? Because first of all, what was a 15-year-old doing at the Playboy Mansion?
Yeah, where were her parents at?
Can I sue them? Can we sue them? Can we sue the parents?
Jeez.
I don't know. I'm just asking questions, y'all. I'm not being a jerk. I'm asking real questions. At some point,
she had no business at the Playboy Mansion, even sitting in the car.
And where was I'm sure Hugh doesn't greet people at the door. Well, he's no longer alive, but when he was, like, I'm sure Hugh wasn't the one actually physically opening the door. So who was the dude at the door?
Right.
That was like, and I know
come on in.
In the 70s, but let's be in the 70s, no one checked IDs.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, that was the 70s.
It was the 70s. And again, I'm not making excuses for terrible behavior, right? I'm not making excuses for terrible behavior. Yes, parents need to be held accountable. Absolutely. But like the thing is that, like, what point do we take personal responsibility for the things, for our actions and our behavior, right? Because again, there's a confusing messages that are going out there, right? We're saying that on one hand, a child can be tried for murder, right? That they were capable enough, or even just tried as an adult in criminal court, right? This is happening over and over again, where children are tried as adults, and no, they should not have committed these crimes. But we're saying, you know what? They're old enough to have made those decisions. But then on the other hand, we make other people victims and we say, oh, well, they weren't old enough to be able to cognitively realize, the outcome of their decisions. And it's like, where's the line is what I'm trying to understand. Because look, I will say this, Mr. Cosby, Dr. Huxtable, this I can say definitively is definitely, I've heard from many people who personally worked with him that he was a giant jerk. He was absolutely a pervert. You know what I mean? He was an adulterer. But those things don't necessarily equate to criminality, right? Because again, in the 70s and 80s, this is not to make excuses. People partied with Quaaludes. That was you slip, you know, it was a thing like slip them a Mickey. It'll loosen them up. That was a thing. Mr. Cosby wasn't the only one. And also, again, I understand
Everybody
the victim.
go to jail.
But like, again, it's one thing for someone to be victimized, right? And we definitely want to listen to victims and hear them and help them. But you can't be a victim and as an adult continue to date someone. And here's the issue that I'm asking. Was it wrong only because they didn't get, because here's the thing, we talked about Weinstein the other day, right? And the question was posed, well, they got what they wanted. So how is that bad? So now on the Cosby situation, is it bad because we have to decide, is it bad, period? Or is it bad because they didn't get what they wanted? Because if they got what they wanted, right? Because here was one of the complaints in these legal filings. The girl who, by the way, dated him for 3 years after the alleged incident, right? She dated him. She says that in her own deposition. Yes, we dated for 3 years. So I'm having trouble understanding this. Says that she became disillusioned because he kept promising her like a role on the Cosby Show. Bill Cosby is a douchebag, man. I'm just gonna keep it 100, but like he did this elaborate bait and switch. Like there's a movie role, there's a this, there's a that, and then they just never got like. I'm so sorry.
We're not filming anymore.
Theo and Vanessa, they was acting up, and I couldn't get anybody else on the set. Then came Rudy, and
the season's over. The season's over. Everybody go to jail. Everybody go to jail. That's my findings. Everybody goes to jail.
So here's the thing. And the only reason why, and I'm going to give you guys an explanation because I've had many of my non-black friends already hit me up. Why are black people excited that Bill Cosby is out of jail? Okay. So I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of black people, it's kind of twofold. You have to remember, we grew up with Dr. Huxtable. We grew up with Fat Albert. He was one of our heroes. So you have that dichotomy, right? But we're honest, right? We know that he was a despicable human being, right? So we're honest about that. Do we think that he was a terrible, despicable pervert? Absolutely. Okay. Is he guilty of something? Undoubtedly. Okay. But you want to know why, and I didn't even say me, because people have asked me, but I didn't even say me. You know what I mean? But here's why some black people are excited that Mr. Cosby got out of prison. Some. I'm trying to answer the question. I can't speak for everybody. We haven't had the meeting of the all black.
You want to speak for all the police though?
Yeah, that's different. It's because of this. For so long, people on the other side of melanin have gotten away with transgressions because of legal loopholes, because they had the ability and the resources to manipulate the system. Sometimes, like OJ, let's be honest, black people don't like OJ. OJ said it himself. He ain't black, he OJ. The only reason we got excited when OJ got acquitted was because one of us got away. For all the brothers and sisters that done went down, it was like, whoo, one of us got away. And I know that's terrible, ladies and gentlemen, but when you lose for so long, when you've been losing for over 450 years, you take all the little victories you can get in the name of Jesus. You just, oh, well, bless God. Won't he do it? Yes, he will. So y'all gotta understand. Y'all pray for me. Y'all pray for me. I'm trying my best to navigate this life and live good and be a good man. But understand me, sometimes when you've been seeing injustice on the other side of the table for so long, it feel good when it look like you and you like, whoo, hey, woo, hey. It was a technicality. If y'all could see Farron's face right now. But those of y'all in your cars, there's probably some people pulling over right now, just cursing my name. They cursing. They cursing my name right now.
Everybody goes to jail.
Everybody goes to jail. That's what
everybody goes to jail. The parents, the guy at the door that let the little girl in. The little girl, she goes to juvenile. I mean, everybody gets in trouble. See, I can't even go there right now. It's too soon. The laws. Get back to, oh man. Like I said, if we just dealt with the 10 Commandments, we would be cool. We would be real cool because there's no clauses and amendments in there.
Hey,
straight.
You know where the loophole is?
Yeah, y'all made it up.
It's under the blood. There is power, wonder working power in the blood. Isn't that what they used to sing? Isn't that what the old folks used to sing? Mm-hmm. Hey, they say, it's under the blood. If Jesus ain't talking about it, then neither am I. Listen, I want to hear from y'all. I want to know what y'all think about this case because here's what you have to understand. It's no one wins in this. Okay.
No.
As much as y'all think that I'm not really happy. You know what I mean? I'm not. I need you to understand that no one wins because here's what it says. On one hand, it makes us a little bit leery when it comes to accusations, right? And you never want to be leery of someone who says they were victimized. But this makes you go because there's so many questions like, well, why did you date him? Why were you doing this? And again, I'm not trying to victim blame because you should never victim blame. But again, I have to go back to we all hold some kind of personal responsibility. Because if not, all of the things I did in my youth, right? When I was doing, like I've said this before, I'm a former drug dealer, former gang member. I've done a lot of despicable things earlier in my life. Could I have blamed it on the fact that I grew up in a dysfunctional home, that I was abused as a child, that the things that I saw at a very young age made me, put me in a state mentally that I wasn't able to control my actions. I wasn't culpable for my actions. So
here's in the victim definition. Okay. So the key word, a person harmed, injured, or killed as a result of a crime, accident, or other events or action. Accidents, crimes.
Okay. So what you're saying is, if I accidentally,
yeah, exactly.
Okay, hold on. Let me take me out of it. If Bill Cosby accidentally, inappropriately did something, it's still of someone was victimized. That's what we're saying.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. A person who is tricked or duped.
Oh, he did trick and dupe people. That's for sure. He did a lot of tricking and duping. He was a trick for sure. He was definitely a trick. Okay, so I guess and I understand that we have to take into account the power structure, the power dynamic. Like there's so many
because
nuances.
there was a whole nother piece to why he got harassed because of buying the network and the prevention of him. So it was conspiracies that went along with that too. So who knows? Ahead. No, I'm just saying. How come he's not a victim?
That's what I'm saying. Is at what point, like, how do we determine? Because obviously we're not going by we've talked about this and you said it yourself. If we're going strictly on morality, then that's a little bit easier of a situation. But we're not going strictly on morality. We're going on all of these different nuances. We're going on people's feelings. We're going on the legalities of things. We're going on the technicalities of the legalities.
And they
right?
waited so long. Why they wait so long? Why they wait so long?
See, and again, but again, people will say you can't. How do you tell a victim when to cut? Like, there's so many different things, right? And then you have real life. And I'm not saying this. I'm not saying this about these women at all.
No,
But
it's not about the women,
right? But we do have real life situations where, especially in this country, there is a history of men of color being accused of specifically sexual impropriety, right? Like, that's the easiest thing you can accuse a black man of, and no one will even blink twice and go, "Yup, that's exactly right."
Guilty.
I know personally, you feel me? I'm gonna tell y'all a story. When I was 15 years old, my homeboy was dating, and I'm just throwing this out because she happened to be a white girl. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but her dad did use the N-word when he referenced this young man. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it. This young man was a star football player. Okay. Him and this young lady were boyfriend and girlfriend, and they got to know each other in the biblical sense. The young man was a senior in high school, and she was a sophomore. Okay. Well, during his senior year, he turned 18 years old. A month after he turned 18 years old, because the father didn't want his daughter dating this young man, he convinced his daughter to say that he had raped her. Now, we all knew, the friends, like, nah, because I was at the house several times when they were getting to know each other in another room. There was no raping going on, because before they went in the other room, she was all over him. Now, a lot of women will jump all over me and say that doesn't mean anything, but I think it has something to do with something. This young man went not to juvenile, went to prison. Became a sex offender on the sex offender, the sex offender registry.
Yeah.
Okay. It wasn't until 15 years later that this girl broke down and apologized and said, "I lied. My daddy made me do it because he didn't want me dating a black guy." Now, in my mind, this heifer should go to jail, and her daddy.
I just said everybody go to jail.
Here's the problem. He got sentenced to 20 years. He did those, and guess what? They still didn't want to let him out. Because did someone coerce you to say this, young lady?
Oh, God.
This because of white fragility, white female fragility, right? And so I'm just saying there is a history in this. And again, I know y'all think I make everything about being black, and I'm not trying to make it about being black. My point behind this story is that we have a very complicated story about a very rich and powerful black man who, by all intents and purposes, everyone will agree was way less than a saint. But there were so many other things and people around. And do you think he got, like, this was secret? Like, do you think nobody knew that he was dating, but like his wife knew he had affairs? Like, you know what I mean? This ain't no. And I'm saying, in this time, all of these different, I believe he was a jerk. I believe he dogged women out and he treated them bad. And he did the old okey doke. And I'm going to get you on the Jello pudding pop commercial. You're going to be the next. And they never did it. I believe all of that.
See, how do we expect for our culture to even shift? I'm not even going to say change. Shift when we have these kind of examples. First of all, I know Bill, yeah, he was who he was, but if he put some stuff in the drinks, the dude, this is consequence. I'm talking about consequences, yo.
Okay.
Consequences,
I can rock with you on that.
And we need to, and there's no way around that. There's no way around that.
Okay.
So if it's true, if he did one drink or 50 drinks, he shouldn't have done the one. What caused him to do the one?
Okay.
He's got issues.
Now I'm just asking a question.
He's got issues.
Just asking a question because I own a management company.
Yes.
I've counseled artists throughout the years, and I've, like given advice to people. And it's one of the first pieces of advice I give women as far as female artists or whatever. You don't ever have to have a meeting, a quote unquote business meeting with a man in a hotel room. I'm not even talking about the 3 o'clock in the morning stuff. Okay. Because I'm sorry. Ladies, let me say this out loud right now. Okay. Let me just say this out. I'm going to be very clear. Okay. If a man ever invites you to his hotel room, I'm going to give a safe time after 10:30 p.m. It's about the nookie. Okay. He ain't trying to do business. He ain't trying to, tell you how talented you is. It's about the nookie. I mean, really earlier, but I'm going to go to 10:30. You know what I'm saying? So definitely 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock rock in the morning. So let's be clear. But here's the truth. You can meet in the lobby.
Right.
There's some really nice lobbies.
Right.
There's you go to some of these nice hotels, man, the lobbies are amazing. You could sit down. I've had tons and tons of meetings. You know where one of my favorite places in downtown Los Angeles? The JW Marriott. They have a giant lobby that's amazing. They got a lounge. You can sit down there. You know what I'm saying? Get your little Arnold Palmer. You know what I mean? Have your little conversation and be about your way. The 110 freeway's right there. The 10 is on this side. The 101's on this side. Boop, boop, boop. Get wherever you need to go. But you ain't never got to go. So again, at what point is there personal responsibility? Because I'm going to give you one more key for free. There is not one person in the entire industry that can absolutely make or break you. There's definitely people that can help you. Absolutely. But if you truly have a gift, if you have a thing that you do, God gave it to you. Can't nobody take it away or stop it.
Right.
Well, I'm about to start preaching right now.
It's about time.
Whatever God done gave you, can't nobody get in the way of. Hallelujah. Go ahead, man.
So that's my point. We have to start educating people. We have to start teaching people how to be responsible for your actions and think about the consequences before you sacrifice yourself or put yourself in a situation that's gonna turn negative, and then you're gonna be stuck with some unfortunate outcomes. I don't even know how to put that in words right now, but the whole point is, geez, think. Which
goes back to what I shared yesterday. Above all else, seek wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Seek wisdom. Like this might be like again, I remember I shared there's a scripture that says all things are permissible for me, yet they're not all beneficial. This thing, I might be able to do it. But is it beneficial for me? Does this really, there's not another time, another space, another something?
Yeah, you don't have to sacrifice yourself for stuff.
Ever.
For an opportunity.
No, because again, your gift will make room for you.
Yes.
It will open doors for you that you can't open. And so all I'm trying to say is that I'm not blaming the victims at all. I'm not saying that this person isn't guilty. What I'm saying is that if we walk wiser, right? And it all goes back to biblical principles. It just
for real.
It is the bottom line is if you do these simple things, like we can eliminate and avoid, like life is life. There's gonna be ups and downs, and there's gonna be things that happen that you can't control, whatever.
Right.
But you can minimize the amount of trauma and the amount of devastation that happens in your life based off of personal accountability, responsibility, and making the wisest decision, right? Because I'm gonna speak for me. The bulk of the terrible things that have happened in my life, if I'm being 1,000% honest, including the things that other people did to me, were a result of me first making a decision to walk in that direction. I opened the door. Yes, they were terrible people. I was the victim of a fraud that cost me, I don't even want to say how much money. Stupid amount of money, right? Crushed my life. I lost my home. I lost cars. I lost friends. You know what I mean? Reputation. And I was legit victimized, legit. But you know what I also know is that I was the one that walked into that situation and made all of the decisions that I made that put people in that position. If I'm being honest, and you want me to be really super honest, you can call it intuition, you can call it your gut, you can call it whatever you want to call it. I call it the Holy Ghost was tugging at me, saying, "Man,
you better don't do that.
You shouldn't." You know what I mean? But I knew better. You know what I'm saying? Because now I'm gonna do this, and you know what I mean, and it's gonna blow up, and it's gonna whoop you wop. And I didn't listen. You feel me? And all I'm saying, people, is that look, we have to get to a point where we say, you know what? Pause. That sounds cool, but just, you know what I mean? Like, how about this? I know your room is on the whatever 32nd floor. Can we meet in the lobby?
Right.
Is that cool? Because anybody who's really about their business and really believes in you and really like, yo, I want to, like, yeah, no problem.
Yeah. They might even set up the meeting earlier in the daytime. Really, you didn't have to come to their hotel room to stay to sign some documents. Unless he's living in the hotel, is he living in the hotel?
But again, even then, the lobby's amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, like, man, we know the little cues and the little, like, the moment you start to feel uncomfortable, you got to understand one person cannot dictate your destiny.
Oh,
there's definitely people who can help. Don't get that twisted. Someone wants to come along and help. That's a beautiful thing. But there's a difference between that and we know these things. And like I said, you start to hear that tug, that still small voice. That still small voice start to whisper at you.
Like,
you know,
you might not want to go there. You might not want to leave your apartment today. You might want to stay home today.
And if we're being honest, if we're really being honest, after we go through these things, the reason we're so devastated, the reason we're so hurt and angry is because we know in the deep down, like in your spirit, you know, like, that's on me.
Yeah.
That's on me. And again, this is not to blame victims. This is not to, because no one should ever do something to you or ever, you know what I mean? But yo, man, at some point, like, this is how you want to stop a predator. Don't go over. Don't give them no time. That's how you know what I mean? Because like the same story with, and I will say this, and we're running out of time. I read and saw a lot of like the testimonies, right, of the women, because there was over like 25 women that gave depositions for this Cosby situation. And it was a lot of similarities, right? Like they hadn't met each other, whatever, but there was a pattern, right? There was a pattern. And so one of the patterns was he always brought people back to his hotel room. So again, at some point, and like, I don't even drink, but I know that if people who drink, you can see if you order at the bar, if they put some in it. I don't know what the dude in the room put in the, I don't even like to drink stuff like water or lemonade at somebody's house I ain't never been to that I don't know. Like, give me a water bottle that ain't been opened yet, because I don't know you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? People may want to touch my vittles. I'm sexy. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I got to be careful.
I'm just saying that these are the things that we have to start to teach in our mentorships. It's not about just teaching these children how to tie ties and do a resume. Dang, we need to teach our generation some foundation skills, some dialogue skills, some achievement skills, so they don't have to worry about trying to go to nobody's hotel at 11 o'clock at night to get a contract signed so they can be on the TV commercial. Come on, man.
Man, a lot of these times were like 1 in the morning. Man. It was like 1 in the morning.
Come on, man. You know, they knew what they was doing, man.
Look,
sorry.
I'm just saying, in front of Jesus and the whole world, okay? I'm just gonna be honest with you, because this is not gonna happen. I'm not inviting nobody to nobody. Understand that right now. But if I ever invite you to I'm not in a good space. There ain't nothing holy about what's about, you know what I mean? Like, it's nothing holy. I'm keeping it 100. I know the rest of y'all got your life together. You and God is like this, and y'all don't. I'm just telling you right now. if it's me, man, like just because if I come just hang out and we can talk.
I gotta go change clothes real quick. Come upstairs.
Yeah, I gotta change. I gotta get more comfortable.
I gotta change clothes.
These
come
jeans
upstairs.
and Crocs ain't comfortable enough.
Come upstairs. I gotta talk to you real quick.
These t-shirts. This t-shirt and jeans is just whoo. I feel so just claustrophobic.
but then again, what is that? And I'm sure this happens to men too. It's not just women that get violated.
Women
men as well.
Yes.
What's that drive that's forcing you to, like I said, what's behind all of that? What's the spirit behind that drive?
That's a whole nother conversation.
So that you're so desperate that this is the deal here, and I got to go to his room to sign the contract.
What? No, you want to hear a revelation? I'm about to give it to you.
Come on.
I'm about to look. Right after this, we taking up an offering. I'm letting you know right now. I'm about to drop it on you.
Let's go.
Okay. There's a scripture, the most misquoted scripture in the history of the world, right? People have often quoted this, and it says, what they say is money is the root of all evil. Okay? But that's not actually how the scripture reads, right? It says the love of money is the root of all kinds. It doesn't even say all evil. It just says all kinds of evil, right? The love of money, right? But here's the truth. The love of recognition, selfishness, pride is the root of all evil. Because the truth is, if you really follow everything, it's this insatiable desire to be noticed. The things that we do to be noticed are the things that ensnare us. Because look, the key to life is this: learn to be content no matter your situation, whether I have little or whether I have much. I am content in all situations, because as long as you're not content, it'll never be enough. And that insatiable hunger and thirst to be recognized will push you to do things and go places that you shouldn't go.
Do it for the gram. I ain't gonna do it. Do it for the gram. I ain't gonna do it. And
look, I know right now there's at least 4 people out there with $100. You can give that right now. You can give $100 right now. Matter of fact, I feel it right now. Somebody just, God is moving on. You want to give $1,000. I'm gonna put my Cash App up. Well, listen, we got to that.
I'm just saying these are things that when as a statesman, I wear that because I care about that next generation. So these are the kind of conversations that we have to have in the world, so that these generations coming up can be safe to our best abilities. At that point, then if you put yourself in a situation like that, then those are your consequences just the same.
So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, our time has come to an end today. We thank you each and every day for tuning in. We appreciate y'all, whether you're driving in your cars or some of you catch us on Facebook and YouTube and all that good stuff. We genuinely appreciate you. We hope you continue to do so. So, until mañana, when we get into this, you know what I'm saying? No matter what side of the table you land on, just say a prayer for Dr. Huxtable. Say a prayer for Mr. Cosby, because he needed.
He got to get his life. He got to get his life back now.
Yeah, so he gonna be all right, man. He's worth what, like 500 million? He gonna be all right. So without further ado, I'm your man J Love, aka Uncle Jiggy. I'm always joined by the statesman, Mr. Farron himself. Gotta remind you, reach for your best, reach for success, but most of all, reach for God, because God is love and love is everything, man. I hope y'all have a blessed evening, and we'll see y'all tomorrow, Lord willing.
Peace.
We out.
Oh my.